Welcome, everyone, to the L7C podcast, My Hero Academia edition. Today, we are here. We are previewing season 6 of My Hero Academia. It feels like it's taken a while, but it hasn't taken a while. We are literally 3.5 weeks ish until the premiere of season 6. So we have the My Hero enthusiast with us, Andrea Alanis. How are you doing today, ma'am?
I'm doing good. I'm excited to talk some potential new My Hero content. You hit the nail on the head that it does for me feel like forever since we had new contact other than the content other than the OVAs. But yeah, you're right. Like timeline wise, how long has it been? Barely a year.
Barely a year. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for the new season, and I'm super excited about that. I believe you were the one that told me that the first episode isn't actually going to be a recap, that they're going to go straight into, and I'm so ready for it.
Yeah, so they're going straight into the war, like right into season 6, not a recap, which they've done in seasons past. So, like we said, this is the 6th season of My Hero Academia starting October 1st. They've already had 3 movies. I already think there's another one in the works. So, yeah,
Probably.
we're just going to be here to just get you caught up real quick, what we expect from season 6, and then go from there. So, Andrea, end of season 5, where did we leave off?
All right, the end of season 5, we left off with our, big three being at the Endeavor Hero Agency. We had Endeavor aware of the coming Meta Liberation Army and their numbers. We also had just finished getting a glimpse into the Meta Liberation Army slash League of Villains, My Villain Academia little snippet. So we got to see twice overcome his kind of mental block. So now he in himself is an army, which is a problem. We saw Toga's quirk jump to the point that she's able to, make a physical copy of somebody else, but now she can also use that person's quirk. So that's really a really big deal. And then what else? We know Hawks is a spy for the you know, is it the board? Is that what they are? The overriding hero like
Yeah, basically the
board?
board. So he is double agent because he
Yes.
is with the villains. The villains think he's betraying the heroes, but he's actually betraying the villains by being for the heroes. So not that
Mm-hmm.
many people know.
No,
Very hush
I'm
hush.
actually, and when I was rewatching a couple episodes last night before doing this, I was actually, rethinking about how I'm really glad that they showed us that he was a double agent for the heroes, kind of like immediately. They didn't hang that over us until like the very end of the war. That this isn't my prediction, but like hypothetically speaking, if like we think he's a traitor up until the moment he dies, but then it comes out that he was like a double agent the whole time for the good guys,
Like
blah blah
serious
blah blah.
Snape. Like Snape.
Yes, yes, like that. And I'm glad they didn't do that because they had just introduced him, so it would have been very easy to fall into that level of like, oh, he seems shady, like no, for sure he's a bad guy, for sure he's the traitor, blah blah blah. But they nixed that really quickly. And rewatching the episode where they kind of explain that or show that backstory, I guess I didn't really notice it, but in his like childhood flashback, in that he like quote unquote instinctively saved kids from, I think it was a bus, like a crashed bus or something like that. People were talking about, oh, like he's such a natural, he should become a hero. I thought it was just random passerbys saying that. The way I interpreted it this time watching, it was actually like that's when the board stepped in. So technically speaking, when Hawks makes that comment about how, that the board knows he has no ability to say no to the proposition of being a double agent, because essentially they're the ones that made him a hero. So they have been in his life since he was a small child. And I didn't pick that up watching it the first time through or even the second time through.
Yeah, so in regards to like Hawks in that regard, you could kind of, since we just said the thing comparing him to Snape, and as we do similarities and all that stuff. Kid, a prodigal talent, seen by the higher ups who can't say no to be a double agent. Where have we heard this before?
I'm drawing a blank. I Where have we heard
Oh,
this before?
and the fans are going to be sad because the fans going to know who it is. A Mr. Uchiha Itachi.
Oh, okay. I didn't quite think that's where you were going, but I had before you said Snape, Itachi was the person I was thinking about, and then
Hmm.
you said Snape, and I was like, oh, that's probably an even better one. But yeah, no, Itachi for sure. A
So
prodigal son, although Hawks doesn't really have a family necessarily to betray, but I think have we gotten into kind of like his lineage at this point? I don't think we have Hawks's lineage.
no, but you could do one thing that he's playing. I mean, he's playing both sides. It's literally like when Itachi joined the Akatsuki and he was feeding information to the Leaf.
Right.
And it's the same thing that he is doing, but just with a more, I don't want to say competent branch, but he's at least he's told like Endeavor and all that stuff. Like Itachi really didn't tell any of like the other people, like,
Well,
hey,
Endeavor doesn't know that he's, a double agent.
no,
He
but
knows
he
that,
knows that something's coming. Like Itachi
yeah.
never was like, oh yeah, they're coming to take all the tail bees.
Are you are we sure that he didn't? Because I feel like that would have been information he shared that was their goal, that they were coming after them.
I doubt it because if Itachi would have done that, they wouldn't have gotten 7 out of the 9.
There.
And he helped capture one. Like he was part of all the extractions.
That's
So
true. He couldn't openly go against the extractions
yeah,
with
but
how far deep. Anyway, Hawks isn't an enemy of the nation or of the heroes like openly and then secretly doing double agent stuff. So it's slightly different. But anyway, what's something else from season 5? Rewatching some episodes last night. Correct me if I'm wrong, but we left Deku where he's still at 20%.
20% confidently yes,
For
and he
and
could do
then
the black whip.
at is it 8, 5, something like that? Because he can't do it at the same level that he can like full cowling
Yeah. So like yeah, he's like at 8 or something. Like 20 is his absolute maximum that he can
without hurting himself.
without hurting
Yeah.
himself. And now he has the black whip and all of that jazz. And then also his counterpart Shigaragi got a lot stronger as well
Mm-hmm.
in his fight with Reed Destero. And like you said, the numbers are staggering. How
Yeah.
many people they have? Oh,
Yeah. And they also have early on in the season we see that they have like there are other pro heroes that are
mm-hmm.
actually part of the Meta Liberation Army. Because one of the what was his hero name? It was a silly one. Slide and Go.
Was he the one on the scooter?
No, he's not on the scooter. He's like on his tiptoes and he just kind of slips and yeah, and he slides everywhere and he has like a purple suit. He kind of reminds me of the Crimson Chin from
Fairly
Fairly
Odd
Odd
Parents.
Parents. Like in that he has like an overly large like jaw and chin and like super tight suit and yeah. But anyway,
And
um,
all the comparisons on
all the
this one.
comparisons today. But yeah, we saw because he was on the scene after Bakugo and Todoroki finished their provisional licensure
Mm-hmm.
classes, and yeah, he showed up and helped arrest the villains. Then we see him either in the next episode or a couple episodes later, in a meeting for the Meta Liberation Army with Hawks, and then somebody else who was on the computer, but I didn't notice his face, and I don't know if we saw his actual hero name, like Slide and Go. But yeah, so we know there are pro heroes that are on, the Meta Liberation Army's side.
And it's probably more than that too. It's
Oh,
just
for
shown
sure.
from, I mean, we saw that have a lot of funding, so that's always dangerous. There's probably people in the police force who are in it, just like there was people in the police force in the third My Hero Academia movie who
Right.
were on this. So there's probably stuff in there as well. So there's a lot going on, and then even the final trailer just shows the all-out fights that are going to be happening. They also have like the intro song that's going to be this season playing in it as well. So what are
Oh, thank
you?
God. I was gonna say that's something I was hoping for is that they were gonna do the merry-go-round theme song still.
Well,
Oh my
yeah,
God,
because
it's
I
such
don't
a good
know.
intro.
So what are you expecting in
So
season
what am
6?
I'm expecting a war. I'm expecting to cry. I'm okay. I was thinking about this very hard last night. I think in the main group, meaning like the main heroes that we've seen,
Mm-hmm.
class 1A, class 1B, um, my prediction is at least one student is going to die, and a second one potentially is either going to lose a quirk or be seriously like injured to the point where they can no longer potentially be a hero. So that's probably a low number of just two being out of commission. But I do think potentially one student is going to die. I think Deku's going to have a really hard time overcoming the grief after the war is over, or even towards as the war is building. I also kind of expect Deku to have, I don't want to say a major power up, but in a lot of animes or just kind of shows in general, going through life or death situations on a constant basis typically helps to expedite um, growth because you're trying to survive. So, and that added stress in this case helps them get stronger if they don't end up killed or hurt. But anyway, I'm guessing by the end of the season, he'll probably be able to use full cowling at 30%. I'm hoping, because if we keep at the same pace, it's been 5 seasons, he's at 20%. That means there's going to be 100 seasons before he can get to 100%. So he has to have like some large jumps in control over One for All soon. And at least I'm hoping for soon.
Since we're jumping around here, so I do think. Well, I think some teachers are going to die. I think I do think some students will. I just don't know if they're going to be of the name brand variety of students. Like, I do think some students are going to go, but it might not be from class 1A or class 1B or class 1C, whatever classes. It might be from the other schools, because I feel
That's
like
true.
if it's a war, you're going to call the
Everybody.
other schools. So I could see some of the people who were in like from Miss Jokes
Yeah,
school.
is it Shigetsu or something?
Yeah, I
I
could see.
agree. I agree. I just firmly think that somebody in the core group, I think somebody in the core group is going down. Either my money is that one is going to die, one is going to be seriously injured. It might be that only one from class 1A/class 1B will be like out of commission, but not necessarily die.
Yeah. So that's why I'll say one of those, but I'll say one of the main teachers. Like Eraserhead or Midnight, one of them is going to die.
I would actually put my money on Present Mike, which would be really
Present Mike's another one
it
too.
would be sad to lose any of them, but Present Mike's commentary on the more lighthearted portions of the show is just so entertaining and great that I don't want to say it's a bigger hole left behind than say like Eraserhead, because that's not true. But for like, I guess, comedic entertainment value, maybe you would leave more of a gap in the show if he was the one to die.
Yeah. I just think he'll be one of them because I mean, just in season 4, it was the person who guess slight mentoring, like Night Eye died. So he
That's true.
died, and that was obviously one of the top 5 biggest characters of season 4, because that's where Deku was doing his internship. I'm thinking it's going to be the same type of thing. Deku's gonna make a mistake, and one of these teachers is gonna die because of that, because they're gonna like step in for the blast or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, the one obviously would be Eraser, because Eraser has the
Is
longest
always,
connection
yeah,
with him at this moment, because it won't be All Might, because he won't be nowhere near the field. But then I could see Midnight doing it as like a final, like her big crowning moment. Like,
moment in the show. Yeah.
so I think one of those two are going to die. I could see President Mike, but I really believe it'd be one of those two. Or it might be, well, this is also going to go another thing. It might be someone else who gets a power up from a death. It might be Gang Orca who dies, and then that pops up the girls. Like there's one of those teachers, one or two are going to die. Like, I
Yeah.
just know full heartedly. And then like some, maybe a name-ish student dies, but I know a big name teacher is going to die, and whoever's going to die is going to be the catalyst for
Yeah.
Midoriya to go crazy. So we talked about death, so we're already talking about, so it goes back up to one of our favorite questions for season 6. Which characters do you want to see
Oh.
get shine or get love?
Oh,
Because
thank God. Oh, I thought you were going a totally opposite direction with that. That's why I was like cringing. Oh my God. Okay. I thought you were going to say, who do we think the traitor is going to be revealed to be? Because I do hope the traitor gets revealed during the war.
I think
I
something
hope.
else will get revealed during the war.
But the ones that I want to shine, this is a war. I want everybody to shine. Like I want everybody to have an impactful moment or moments during these battles because it's I mean, as much as everybody's just going to collide, it's going to be different incidents. I don't see this being the season battle royale where everybody comes together all at once and it only happens on the one battlefield. I don't see that happening. I see a lot of little skirmishes and then kind of a final situation like in Naruto Shippuden in the Fourth Great Shinobi War. Just like you had the different battlefronts, but you had the main one at the end. So I want to see it from everybody. Like this is a war. Like we need everybody to do their best to
But
win. Like
that's not necessarily going to happen though, because like you
I
said with Naruto
know.
Shippuden, that was at the end of the series. This is season 6. This show is still going to be going on for a couple of seasons. So, like, if you had to pick
If I
five
had to,
people,
okay, in those five people, do we count the big three, Midoriya, Todoroki, and Bakugo? Because we know they are going to.
you can. I'll let you count. I'll let you count Shoto because he's going to fight Dabi. Like that. That's going to
Oh yeah,
happen.
for sure. And
Or
oh my
unless
god,
like I feel like that's going to be where I feel like there's going to be a lot of reveals in this season. Like you're going to have a Dabi, Shoto, Endeavor like triangle, and that's when he's like, "Oh, you don't remember your old like that." I feel like it's going to happen, but so he's going to have a moment. But now you can
I
take
didn't I didn't
those
think
three
that
out.
would happen so soon. I was expecting that reveal potentially. Spoiler alert if anybody didn't know, but I was expecting that reveal to be later.
Well, if you think you're going to kill someone in this war, you might as well let everything out. Like they're all going in to
That's true.
win.
That's true. That's true. So getting Shine for sure. Todoroki. I want Momo to step up to the plate. Um, I want to see a little bit more of Sue. Honestly, like I know she got her fair bit during the train, like class 1A, class 1B, but I feel like she's still so underrated. Like we don't see her actually fighting others enough.
It's crazy. It's kind of crazy you say that too, because like you said, her team was the first team to win in the Class 1A, Class
Mm-hmm.
1B. She was the only other like female character from Class 1A besides Uraraka who was prominent during the raid, like who
Yeah.
actually her team like was her and Uraraka, which is crazy to think about. Like we're just saying like that, and she's probably the second female lead of the show and want more
I
shine and
just
all.
I do. I want her to get more time. I do. Of I want to see more of Amajiki, Sun Eater. I want to see him out there more, especially like in some sort of mission to find the antidote for the quirk erasing bullets for Mirio. Um, and then who? Ooh, I kind of want to see. I don't think I'm going to pick anybody. I think I'm going to say I want to see more of the students from the other schools, like you mentioned, because it is a war. They are going to bring them in. So like getting to see maybe the top threes from these other schools or the top one person, and seeing like what they bring to the table would be really really cool.
So you already said Momo. So I'm not. I'm gonna try and say people that you haven't said because I don't disagree
I
with the
didn't say
people.
Momo. I actually didn't say
Oh, I
Momo. I
thought you. Well,
thought
you
about
said it.
it.
So you're not gonna say her. If she doesn't
I
shine now, then it's over for her.
I know, and I do. It's just out of the top five. Like I want it because did I say five or did I leave off at four?
Well, you said
Shoot,
Shoto,
I said Shoto. I said
Sue.
Sue. I said Amajiki. Oh, yeah. So I did have one left. Okay. Yes, Momo. Yes, I want to see you shine more because you're right. If she doesn't shine now or like come to the forefront in a what's the word I'm looking for? In like a physical presence, in a combat presence, I don't think she ever will. I think she'll always be relegated to strategy and like uh the back. Just which isn't a bad thing, but with her being she was one of the recommended students
Mm-hmm.
for UA and like she just has that potential, but I feel like it's being wasted. So yes, Momo would be another person I really, really, really want to shine. I feel like Kendo will. It's not a question for me that she will. I want Momo. Battle ready, battle experienced.
Yeah, and in this case, there's nothing wrong. Like if she's shining in the back because she's supplying stuff, she's making first aid kits, like she's an integral piece of the whole army because she's the one who can consistently make supplies and all that. That's going to be a big deal. Like that would be
That's
enough.
true.
That would be enough for me because then if you're going from a enemy standpoint, again,
They
almost
need to
same.
take her out because
Yeah,
I
you need
mean,
to take her out.
starving people out, having like cutting off their supply lines is a legitimate war threat. Is
Yeah.
it, moral? Not so much, but it is a typical war
Yeah.
strategy.
So you would have to take her out. So I have from 5 up to 1. Number 5 is Miriko, everyone's favorite
Yes.
rabbit, waifu, top 5 hero, because she talks a lot of stuff, and I've only seen her kick like that one thing when Davi and Endeavor had their little thing. So really need to see her, what she's all about, because right now, again, she is a very popular waifu in the community, but I need to see what you're about physically and fighting wise since you're a top hero. Another one, which I also have another lady, and that is in her hero name. I have Mount Lady at
Mm-hmm.
number 4 because honestly, besides being like the new young thing on the block, she really hasn't done much since like being shown in the first episode and like the Bakugo thing. She's gonna have a Omega role because she's gonna be fighting the villain's gigantic thing. Like this
Yeah.
is like so this is put up or shut up for her. So
For
like
Mount Lady. All right. All right.
so I have those. So Miracle 4, Mount Lady 3, no 4, and Miracle 5. Number 3 is Mr. Dark Shadow himself because I have him at
Tsukuyomi.
3
Yes.
because he's gonna see the lengths that his mentor Hawks has gone through to be a hero and all that stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and he's gonna need to have a power up in the big daylight because obviously they're not gonna be fighting at night because it's not gonna be like that type of show, I
Yeah.
believe. So he's gonna have to
No.
really like do
Power through.
something in that. And then number
And I think he's gonna unfortunately I've seen a spoiler to this point, but I really think the spoiler that I'm thinking of would potentially occur either during this war or immediately after. And it's going to be so cool. I still don't know how it happens or like how it gets explained, but I'm so excited to see how it plays out.
so then number 2 would be, who did I have number 2? We already said Momo, so I could take her off. Oh, number 2, the main girl of this show, Uraraka, because
Mm-hmm.
I mean she's going to be out there fighting. She's going to have to fight an amped up Toga.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
that is probably going to be an episode dedicated in itself or a half of episode.
Yeah.
So that, and then number 1 is actually Endeavor. And the reason for that is this is literally his legacy defining number 1 hero moment. Like he's going to be leading this army into battle. And if he's not proving that he's the number 1 hero he should be, win or lose after this thing, public's going to even have even more doubts. So he has to really show, to me, leadership, and he's got to take some people out Like,
Yeah,
so
he'll have to take some people out. I know this isn't like on camera, but I don't know if you saw my face when you said it. Like as much as I know he needs to, I still don't like him. I so like I'm conflicted about the fact that he has to be that he is a pivotal character. I can appreciate, the growth they're going for that has been seen so far, but just like I don't like him.
yeah, I'm not really too fond of him too, but I was leaving emotions and all of that inside and going with
as
that
you
because I
do,
mean, this is
as you
his
do.
this is his legacy. Like everyone is going to remember, like, oh, Endeavor led us to victory during this liberation war, or
Not till they hear that truth bomb. Not till they hear the truth.
yeah,
No,
but that's one of those things. Like when I was doing my list, it's kind of like sports. Winning cures everything. Like once they hear the truth thing, they're like, all right, but he led us to victory. Whatever. It's just the way it works. But yeah, he was my number one. And then I was thinking too, like, I don't think the heroes got amped more than the villains. Maybe it's because the villains I
no,
saw last, but I don't feel like class 1A and class 1B got
no.
strong. The only one I felt like who got significantly stronger shown was Bakugo.
Well, the leap in growth, I don't know, because I feel like some of the lesser class 1A characters showed a lot of growth, but in like actual combat power potential, yeah, Bakugo's still the strongest out of everybody. If Midoriya didn't have the Black Whip show up out of nowhere, I think it would be more of a like contested argument. But since he now has a quirk he couldn't really control, he can now control it for what, 3 seconds?
Yeah, he can. Well, he can control it pretty well because obviously third movie he was swinging around like Spider Man. So
That's true, but we also kind of were like, where the hell did that come from? Because he was still doing his internship, and at the end of like where anyway, um, but yeah, no, the villains, and that's I mean the villains amped up powers kind of goes back to my point earlier about how you know essentially fighting for your life and it's a life or death situation. Each one of them basically went through that to get that massive power up.
mhm.
Toga was on the verge of death. Twice was psychologically challenged. He wasn't physically on the verge of death. Shigaraki was, exhausted, fighting a extremely powerful opponent for days on end without sleep, and then took on Redestro. Basically, again, still fighting for his life, fighting against Ayamakia for his life for days. I think it was about a month. Was it a month that he was doing that
Mhm.
before his power up? So like that's I feel like part of the reason why their jumps were so significant compared to class 1A, class 1B.
Yeah, so we're gonna have to wait and see. Like it's gonna be something crazy because again, this is October 1st. My Hero Academia is actually starting off this new anime season on the first, with other things following. They're gonna be the first episode of the new fall season. It's looking like potentially there's going to be 25 episodes if it's like the same. So this could be going till mid 2023.
Mm-hmm.
So this is it. We've been waiting, and now in a couple weeks we have weekly episodes. So everyone buckle up, uh, get your tissues or whatever ready,
Get your
because
tissues ready. Get like your comfort meal snack, something or other to help quell that anxiety. I don't know. I honestly don't know if I'm gonna watch them weekly or if I'm gonna wait for a bundle because dealing with the weekly cliffhanger, sometimes I don't have it in me. Sometimes I just don't have it in me.
yeah, but if you
We are
don't
still
watch it
planning.
weekly, you're gonna get spoiled like you already
That's
do.
so true. That's so true. Okay. We'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. It's also helpful that my roommates also watch anime and My Hero, so and I know one in particular is hyped for it to drop as well. So maybe I'll just need an emotional support human if I'm gonna watch them weekly.
There you go. There you go. Andrea, anything else on My Hero Academia season 6 on the horizon?
On the horizon?
No,
What do
on
you
the
mean?
like it's on the horizon of coming. Like you've
Ah,
never
yeah.
heard that statement?
Well, no, I was just confused if you were asking me what I still think is coming next. I was like, wait, what? My bad. My brain's a little bit off today. I apologize. I did. There was one thing I actually had as a prediction for season six that I didn't get to mention earlier. Um, I get this sinking feeling that at some point during the season, somebody's gonna talk to Hero Killer Stain.
He was mentioned in the final trailer.
Right. So yeah, I just kind of want to know who's going to be the one talking to him. If it is going to be All Might in his, quote unquote normal weakened state, or if they're going to have Deku do it because he acknowledged Deku, essentially saved Deku's life. Because if that Nomu would have carried him off to the league, they probably would have killed him. Um, yeah, I want to know how that conversation's going to go. I wonder if they're going to try to like convince him to fight on their side or just kind of pick his brain for his ideologies to help turn some of the meta liberation army kind of pawns back over to kind of the hero side. I don't think necessarily that's as likely, but I want to know. I want to know what they're going to pick his brain with.
My thing is my prediction. Besides one of the teachers and them dying, is by the end of this season, one of Shigaragi or the doctor, whoever, is going to expose Midoriya's secret.
You mean that we find out if the theory is correct that he had his own quirk
No, that
originally,
he's
or
gonna. They're going to
okay?
expose Midoriya's secret that he got his quirk from All Might.
Oh, interesting. I wouldn't have. I didn't really think that would be maybe maybe because I wonder also if the general public knew that you know one for all derived from all for one.
Well, they don't even know
If
what that quirk is.
true, true, but they know it's the main bad guy, so the main
What?
good guy, the symbol of peace, somehow got his quirk, which he's now. If they're releasing the whole secret, then now Deku has came
Yes.
from the original bad
Mhm.
guy.
Yeah. So that's why I think all that's going to happen. Because again, like people out here, there's only like two people who called All Might by his real name. So it's like his information was very, very
Yeah,
protected.
yeah, because he even made that comment to Deku about like the real name of my quirk. So like the name of his quirk to the general public was listed as something different.
Yep.
Um, what was it listed to the
It
general
was
public?
something.
Do we know?
It was something stupid, like because it was really quick. Because then he's like, "Oh, it's one for all, blah blah blah, and all of that." Because like his stuff is secret. So when it gets, I do think this is all going to lead to it. Midoriya's going to be sad about that. His secret's going to get exposed. Everyone's going to be looking at him crazy because all for one, I think he's coming out of jail too this season. That's
Oh
also
yeah,
another thing.
I'm guessing they're busting him out. They're either part of me wants to prophesize that they're going to try to bust him out and fail so that he's going to actually miss the war. But I
I
feel
don't.
like that's also like, why would you have this whole war and not be able to bust him out of jail?
I don't think they'd fail because everyone who would be able to stop them would be on the front lines.
That's true.
I mean,
That's
the
true.
heroes don't got that many people.
That plus it's just like I'm forgetting which of the X-Men movies it was, but when Magneto's in the is it plastic or glass plastic prison? I mean, Mystique injects the
It's the
one
third
guard with too
movie.
thank you with too much iron. Yeah.
Yep.
And so he makes little iron balls out of his blood like crazy. So I feel like it's going to be kind of that level to bust him out.
Yeah.
It would be real sneaky and entertaining to watch, unfortunately.
Yeah, because I think that's where I mean, this is where I think it leads to. Obviously, the people know, like spoiler, like when Deku leaves, he's gonna leave because trauma of seeing some of his people get killed, his secret being exposed, and he's gonna be like, I can't be here anymore because now everyone's gonna come after me to get the quirk that made All Might All Might.
Yeah. I don't know. I just part of me doesn't think that again, spoiler that Deku has his whole kind of like I am vengeance, I am the night kind of situation going. Not vengeance because he doesn't I don't think he's going after revenge, but just kind of having a off on his own kind of below uh, below board because I mean he's got a provisional license, but he's not a pro hero, but he's off going on his own. I don't feel like his secret being exposed is part of that. And I just don't know. I don't know why I feel like that, but I that doesn't seem right to me. But we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm just saying with the secret thing because you just brought up like the vengeance, like in Batman stuff. Like any superhero who gets their secret identity exposed, everyone who knows is in danger, and they gotta leave.
But his identity's been exposed since the third movie because the whole world was after him.
But not his quirk.
That's true.
Like that quirk. That's the thing. Like no one knows about that quirk besides All Might, Bakugo, Gran Torino.
That's it.
That's it.
That yeah. Well, because Night Eye knew about it and
Night
he's
I knew about
gone.
it and he's gone.
Oh, the lady, what's
The recovery lady.
thank you. Recovery girl, yes. She
I would say
knows.
them. The chief of police.
Uh
Because he knew All Might's two forms, so yeah, he would know.
I don't think he's the chief of police. I think he's a detective, the guy you're thinking of, the one that's his friend.
Yeah, so the Jim Gordon of their universe.
Yeah, and Principal Nezu, because remember Nezu was like, "Hey, isn't Togata like kind of a good candidate?"
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So actually, now that we're naming them all, it's like, that's a secret is best kept when only one person knows.
Yeah, but it's six people from, I mean, all
From
the
the good
people
guy
he
side,
trusts.
and then on the bad guy side, you have obviously All for One, Tomura Shigaraki, the Doctor.
That's it,
Like
right?
that's too many. That's one too many people on the bad guy side that already knows that secret. So no, I can see it, but like I don't know why I don't really. It just I don't know. I feel like that's not enough to make Deku kind of like go into the shadows.
You don't think millions of villains coming to the school to try and get his quirk is gonna like make him leave? Because everyone's
But when
gonna
you
hunt
say
them down if you're like, oh, you had the greatest hero of all time's quirk, and then they tell the whole everything, and it could be transferred if you do this, this, and this.
I guess that's fair. I guess that's fair because yeah, then it paints a target on. But I mean, ugh, but they already had essentially UA has already prepared them for being targets, and I mean the biggest villain group was is the League of Villains. Now they have the Meta Liberation Army, which is basically headed by the League of Villains. And once the war is over, I mean, there's still going to be large scale villains, but they
Well,
were already kind of preparing for that, that they would be coming after the students. And while it is more directed for Midoriya, I don't, I think he will take a little too much personal responsibility. Um, I personally feel like it's going to be more of the trauma and grief of whoever gets killed more so than the secret getting out would make him kind of turn that way, if that makes sense.
no, that makes
If
sense.
they both happen, then obviously they play into it together. I just feel like some shocking event or some shocking news other than the secret, I feel like would make more sense to me to have that shift versus the secret coming out.
We'll
But
we'll see because people have
we
already
will,
died.
we will.
People have already died, and they've already made a big case that this cannot get out to the public. There's a reason it can't get out, or All Might would have told. They would have been telling people about this quirk and what it truly is for centuries. So there's a reason why it's not out. So when it does get out, it's gonna cause a shift.
That's true.
And it could be the worst case scenario. It could be it comes out and Midoriya is about to finish off. Well, one of these. First of all, none of the main League of Villains, none of them are dying in this because this show's still.
Oh no, absolutely. No, no, they're all gonna bounce. They're all gonna bounce or tap out at this right moment. No,
I
no,
think Shoto,
or they're just
Midoriya,
gonna
or
dip.
someone else, one of the top little 1A people, one of them is literally going to get stabbed by the traitor.
Ooh, you think so?
Yeah, I mean, again, we know that this show is going to be going on for a bit. Obviously, the characters, they don't know. So it's like, if you're going to go and you're going to die, everything's being left on the field.
I just don't think the traitor would have orders to out themselves that way. I think the traitor is going to get found out. I don't think the traitor is going to do something to out themselves, if that makes sense.
I think a stab would be more impactful, just like what Zetsu did to Madara. That was more impactful than them finding out Zetsu like did it.
That's true. I just think the traitor plot line is not as big as the battle going on. Because if the traitor really is a student, while stabbing one of the like big three for the show is super impactful, I think for the strategy of the overall war, I think potentially if that's really going to happen, they would probably stab one of the top heroes, one of the biggest, like, to this point, maybe it'd be Eraserhead if it really is a student in 1A and they kill Eraserhead.
Yeah, I just feel like it'll be like when they're all fighting together. It's going to be like, oh, we're about to win. And then boom, someone gets clocked and you're like, what's happening? He's like, well, can't let you take down my boss Shigaraki. And then cliffhanger episode.
That's true. That it would end right there. Honestly, we would probably get the cliffhanger right as like the sound of somebody being stabbed and then seeing the blood. We probably won't even see the hand or the silhouette of the person doing the stabbing before the end of the episode.
But we will see. We will find out in a couple of weeks where it all begins. And with that being said, thank you everyone for listening to the L7C podcast. Make sure you like, rate, comment, subscribe. Again, My Hero Academia is starting off the anime season October 1st, 2022. And it'll be weekly. So we will definitely be here reviewing episodes, talking about what's going on and all that. Who knows? Maybe our first review of the first couple episodes, someone may already be down. Like they might start off with a bang. So
they might start off with a bang and drop body.
Yeah. So we will find out. With that being said, this is the L7C podcast. Take care.